This person is making a huge choice about you. Listen very carefully, because what I am about to tell you may be happening in someone's mind quietly, secretly, and deeply right now at this very second, and you might not even know it. There is someone out there who has been thinking about you much more strongly than they allow themselves to say. You may feel disconnected, far away, confused, or unsure about where you stand with them. On the outside, things may feel quiet, unclear, or not yet fixed. But what you do not realize is this. This person is standing at one of the most important emotional crossroads of their life. And the choice they are facing is not a small one. It is not light. It is not something they are doing without thinking. It is a decision about you. Not just your name, not your profile picture, not your messages, and not just the memories, but you as a soul. You as a person who is there. You as someone who entered their life with meaning and importance. They are weighing something very deep and very personal. Should I take a step forward or step away? Should I choose them or choose my fears? Should I hold on or should I let go? And this decision cannot be rushed. It cannot be ignored. It cannot be hidden, because you are not just another part of their story. You are a part they cannot finish without facing themselves. Right now, this person is fighting a silent inner battle. They may look normal on the outside. They may be doing their work, hanging out with friends, smiling, and even acting like they don't care. But inside their mind, a very different reality exists. Their thoughts go back to you in moments they did not plan for. Late at night, early in the morning, in the quiet gaps between other things, they are asking themselves heavy questions. What if this choice changes my whole future? What if choosing them means becoming a new person? What if I lose them forever if I do not act? What if I try and fail again? And here is something most people never realize. Silence is not the lack of feeling. Often silence is the presence of fear. Some people do not show emotions because they are terrified of losing control. Some do not go after love because they were never shown how to feel safe in it. Some wait not because they do not care, but because caring feels dangerous. As Carl Jung once said, "Where your fear is, there your task is." And you represent a task they cannot avoid. Their heart pulls them toward you. It reminds them of how they felt seen, how they felt understood, and how they felt calm in a world that rarely slows down. Their heart remembers the version of themselves that existed when you were there. But their mind fights back. The mind brings up old hurts, old letdowns, and old failures. The mind whispers to be careful. It warns them not to repeat past pain. It questions whether they are strong enough, healed enough, or worthy enough. This is the tension they live in right now, between healing and hope, between safety and risk, between staying the same and becoming more, and you are at the center of that tension. You see, not every connection leaves a mark. Not every person enters our life and changes the inner structure of who we are. Many connections are short. Many are just distractions. Many are lessons that pass quickly. But with you, something went deeper. You did not just attract them, you activated them. You touched their insecurities without attacking them. You challenged their comfort zone without forcing them. You showed them parts of themselves they had not fully seen yet. You woke up both their desire and their fear. That is why this decision feels so heavy, because choosing you means growth, and growth always scares the ego. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And the truth is, you quietly invited them toward that path. They felt it. They may not have had the words for it. They may not have known how to explain it. But around you, something in them shifted. They felt more present, more honest, more open, and more real. And that level of connection does not go away just because talking slows down or life changes. This is why they have not forgotten you. This is why your name still causes a reaction in their body. This is why the thought of losing you forever creates a tightness in their chest they cannot explain. You were not just noise in their life. You were meaning. You were not entertainment. You were comfort. You were not a distraction. You were direction. And when someone finds that, they are forced to look at themselves. Another truth Jung understood deeply is this: until you make the hidden parts of your mind clear, they will lead your life, and you will call it fate. Right now, this person is standing at the edge of that realization. They are beginning to see that avoiding you is not neutral, that choosing nothing is still a choice, and that not making a decision has results. They know that staying silent too long could cost them you. They know that someone else could see your value without waiting. They know that what they waited to appreciate might not wait forever. At the same time, they fear getting hurt again. Past experiences still sound loudly in their mind. This waiting is not always about you. Often it is about the ghosts of what happened before you. And there is another fear they may never say out loud: the fear of not being enough for you. Deep love has a way of showing insecurities. When someone feels that they have something truly valuable to lose, their self-doubt gets stronger. They start questioning whether they can meet the emotional level the connection needs. That is where they are right now, questioning themselves, measuring themselves, wondering if they can rise to the level of the bond they felt with you. And whether they choose courage or running away will shape what comes next. This decision is forming quietly, inside, where no one can see. And while they think about it, something else is happening that you must understand. Your energy matters. The way you carry yourself now, the way you respect yourself now, the way you choose yourself now. Because sometimes the moment someone chooses you is the moment you stop waiting to be chosen. As Jung said, what you fight against stays. What you accept changes. And the most powerful change begins when you stop putting your life on pause for someone else's confusion. This is where your role truly begins. This is where the shift becomes small but powerful, because while they are debating, while they are going over the same thoughts again and again, something inside them is already changing. Awareness has started, and once awareness begins, there is no going back to not knowing. They start replaying moments with you not in a dramatic way, but in quiet flashes. The way you listened without trying to fix them. The way you gave them space instead of demanding answers. The way you made them feel accepted without trying to own them. These memories come up when they don't expect it, often when they least want them to. And each time the same realization follows. This connection was not an accident. They begin to understand that what bothers them is not you, but what you represent. You represent emotional honesty. You represent depth. You represent a mirror that shows who they are and who they could become. And mirrors are uncomfortable for people who are still dealing with their dark sides. Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how silly, to avoid facing their own soul." And right now they are standing face to face with theirs. This is why they go back and forth. One moment they feel pulled toward you, imagining what it would be like to step forward, to speak honestly, to choose courage. The next moment they pull back, telling themselves that distance is safer, that silence is control, that time will somehow fix what they refuse to face. But time does not rub out meaningful connections. It only makes them clearer. They begin to notice how different life feels without you there. Not necessarily empty, but flatter, less bright, less alive. And this difference is what makes the decision something they cannot avoid. You did not just take a place in their life. You changed their inner world, and that change stays. At this stage, another inner fight comes up: responsibility. They start asking themselves questions that go beyond just wanting you. Can I show up all the time? Can I be emotionally ready, not just emotionally interested? Can I protect this connection instead of ruining it when fear shows up? Can I love without hiding? These questions feel heavy because they need a person to be mature. Choosing you would mean no half-effort, no confusion, no emotional shortcuts, and they feel that very clearly. They know that you are not someone who does well in uncertainty. They feel that you are not made for games or endless waiting, and that knowledge creates pressure because choosing you means choosing to be honest. This is where many people wait the most, not because they do not care, but because they do. Deep down, they understand that entering your life fully would require them to change and grow. And growth needs you to be responsible. Carl Jung said this truth simply when he said, "There is no coming to awareness without pain. Growth is uncomfortable. Love that changes you is uncomfortable." And they are standing right at the edge of that discomfort. They also feel something else, that you are changing. Even if you have not said it out loud, even if you have not announced it, they feel a shift in your energy. Less chasing, less explaining, less reaching into the silence. You are more grounded, more focused, and more leading yourself. And this makes them uneasy. Because when someone stops chasing, the feeling of control goes away. When someone stops waiting, reality starts. They begin to realize that you are not stuck in place, that your life is moving, and that your worth does not stop for their lack of a decision. This realization can wake up a sense of hurry. They start imagining things they did not want to face before. You meeting someone else, you choosing peace over waiting for them, you closing the door quietly without a fight. And that thought does something to them. It shows their attachment, not the kind that wants to own you, but the vulnerable kind, the kind that admits, "This mattered to me more than I allowed myself to feel." This is also when fear gets stronger. Fear of being told no, fear of being seen too clearly, fear of failing you, fear of opening old wounds. Sometimes, instead of moving forward, people freeze. They tell themselves that staying still is okay. But stillness, when driven by fear, is just a way of avoiding things. And yet, even in avoiding, the decision is forming because every day they do not choose courage. They feel the cost. A small regret, a quiet tension, a sense that something important is being put off. They begin to realize that not choosing is also a choice. And here is the puzzle they are facing. If they choose you, they risk pain. If they do not, they risk regret. And regret has a way of staying longer than a broken heart. You see, a broken heart can heal, but regret stays. This is why you are still in their inner world. This is why they cannot simply find someone else to take your place. This is why distractions do not work like they used to. This is why silence does not bring peace, only a delay. They are learning something very important about themselves through you, that avoiding being open is no longer enough, that emotional safety without emotional depth feels empty, that comfort without connection feels hollow. And even if they try to find reasons for their waiting, the truth keeps coming back. This connection asked something of them, and the question is no longer, "Do I feel something?" The question has become, "Do I have the courage to honor it?" Meanwhile, your role stays the same. You are not required to talk them into it. You are not required to prove yourself. You are not required to wait in uncertainty. Your power is in staying true to yourself, in choosing your own growth, your own peace, your own path. Because whether they step forward now, later, or never, the most important movement is happening inside you. And this is where the balance shifts. Because when you choose yourself fully, you stop arguing about your worth. And when worth is no longer something you argue about, clarity comes faster. Either they rise to meet you or they step aside, and both results help you grow, As Jung once said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside wakes up. Right now, both of you are being invited to wake up. And the next part of this story will be shaped by who answers that invitation. And this is where the tension reaches a deeper level, because now it is no longer just a choice about feelings. It becomes a choice about who they are. They begin to feel that choosing you is not only about choosing a relationship. It is about choosing a different way of living, a different standard, a different version of themselves. And that realization can be scary. You see, some people are okay with wanting something but not okay with the work of it. They like the feeling of connection but fear the rules that commitment brings. And when a bond feels as meaningful as the one they felt with you, it needs something real back. This is when they might try to ruin things on purpose. They might tell themselves they need more time. They might convince themselves that the timing is wrong. They might focus on small problems that did not matter before. They might pull away while pretending they are just being logical. But under all of that is one truth they find hard to admit. They are afraid of failing at something that actually matters. When something does not matter much, failing is okay. But when something touches your heart, failure feels like it shows who you are. And you touch their heart, they start to wonder if they are able to be what the connection needs. Not just passion, but being there. Not just liking you, but being steady. Not just attraction, but being emotionally reliable. This is why they wait, because choosing you means they can no longer hide. They can no longer blame timing, distance, or confusion. They would have to show up as themselves, fully seen, fully responsible. And that level of being open scares people who have learned to survive by protecting themselves. At the same time, something else is happening inside them. They are beginning to see your strength. Not a loud strength, but a quiet, solid strength. They notice that you are not falling apart while they are gone. They notice that you are not begging for them to tell you you are good enough. They notice that your energy is becoming steady instead of wild. And this creates a shift in power, because wanting someone grows when there is space, and that space is respected. You are no longer trying to convince them of your value. You are living it. And when value is lived, it cannot be denied. This is where the longing gets deeper. They start missing not just you being there, but the way they felt around you. The emotional clarity, the sense of peace, the feeling of being understood without being questioned. They compare other people to the connection they had with you, even if they do not mean to, and nothing matches it. Not because you were perfect, but because the bond was real. Being real leaves a mark. It stays in the body. It stays in the memory. It stays as a contrast. They begin to realize that finding someone else is not the same as fixing what they felt with you. And connections that are not finished have a way of coming back until they are faced honestly. This is also when the fear of loss becomes more real. The idea of you moving on stops feeling like a maybe. It starts feeling like it is happening. They imagine you choosing peace, choosing growth, and choosing someone who does not wait. And that thought hurts, not because of jealousy, but because of regret. The regret of not doing something when they had the chance. The regret of letting fear make a choice that needed courage. The regret of thinking safety was the same as being happy. And regret is a strong reason to act. At this point, their inner talk changes. The questions become more direct. What if I let something special go? What if this was my chance to grow and I ran away? What if my fear cost me something I will never find again? This is when things become clear, even if it happens slowly. Because meaningful connections force people to look at their habits, and you showed them habits they could no longer ignore. Running away, holding back feelings, and doubting themselves while pretending to be logical. They are seeing themselves more clearly now, and clarity takes away excuses. Meanwhile, you are being led towards something important as well. Being patient does not mean losing yourself. Love does not ask you to erase who you are. Understanding does not mean putting up with uncertainty forever. Your job is not to wait in a state of not knowing. Your job is to stay joined with your own truth, to keep building a life that feels full, solid, and self-respecting. Because when someone feels that they might lose their chance with you, not because you are mad, but because you are moving on, the decision becomes sharp. They feel the shift. They feel that you are no longer there for emotional limbo, that your energy is no longer waiting for them to decide, that you are choosing clarity for yourself even if the outside situation is not fixed yet. This is when people are forced to decide not because they are lonely, but because they see your value. Either they step forward with a plan, or they step back and let the connection end with respect. There is no middle ground that stays. And this is where life answers, not as a punishment or a reward, but as things matching up. Because connections that are meant to grow will find a way through honesty and bravery. And connections that are meant to teach will end when growth is fought. Both results are important. Both results help you become better. Right now, the energy is building quietly, inside, where it is not seen. And soon, something will shift on the outside. A message, a talk, a decision, or a silence that finally says everything. Until then, the most powerful thing you can do is stay strong in your worth. Because the moment you stop arguing about your value, life stops arguing about your results. And now the pressure shifts again. Because when a decision is put off long enough, life starts to answer on its own. They start noticing signs they cannot ignore, feeling restless, sudden memories, a pull toward being honest that feels both fast and scary. It is as if something inside them is saying, "This cannot stay like this." They may try to distract themselves, fill time with work, routines, other people, or noise, but distraction no longer works like it used to, because the question has not gone away. It has grown up. What am I running from? And why does running from it feel heavier than facing it? This is when they begin to understand something that feels bad, that their lack of a decision is not protecting them, it is wearing them out. The emotional weight they have been carrying does not go away with silence. It grows. They start seeing patterns in themselves, how they pull back when things get real, how they think about feelings instead of showing them, how they delay choices that need them to be open. And with that, they realize something quiet. If I do not change this habit, I will do it again, not just with you, but in all of life. This is where the connection becomes a symbol. You stop being just a person in their mind and start being a choice. One path leads toward growth and truth. The other leads back to the same old safety and distance. And the scary part is this: they know which path helps them grow, and they know which path keeps them stuck. Carl Jung once said, "You don't become better by imagining light, but by making the dark parts of yourself known." Right now, their fear is visible to them. Their fear of being close, their fear of not being good enough, their fear of being fully seen. And because you showed them these fears, you became important beyond just romance. You became a mirror. This is why the decision feels so big. They begin to ask themselves deeper questions, not about you, but about who they are. Am I living from fear or from truth? Am I choosing comfort or honesty? Am I avoiding pain or am I avoiding growth? And these questions do not have middle answers. At the same time, they feel something else clearly. Now you are not waiting the way you used to. Not because you stopped caring, but because you started respecting yourself. Your energy has shifted from waiting for them to being right with yourself. And this changes the whole feeling of the connection. When someone realizes they can no longer have a part of you without trying, they feel a hurry. When someone feels that you are choosing your own life, the idea of having forever to decide falls apart. They feel that. They feel that if they want you in their life, it cannot be through waiting. It cannot be through half steps. It cannot be through being unclear. It would have to be real, and reality is a lot to face. This is when the inner fight either breaks or gets harder. Some people, when faced with this moment, choose to be brave. They step forward even though they are scared. They speak honestly even though they are unsure. They take the risk because they see that running away costs too much. Others run away not because they do not feel, but because they are not ready to change. And you cannot force change. Either way, the truth comes out because connections that need growth will not stay stuck forever. Meanwhile, something important is happening inside you. You are no longer defining yourself by their choice. You are getting back your peace and your direction. You are remembering that love is not something you earn by waiting. It is something you allow by being good with yourself. And this inner shift is powerful because when you stop making your life smaller to fit someone else's confusion, things get clear, the weight gets lighter, and you stop trying to read signs. You start trusting yourself. This is when the result starts to show. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped fighting your own growth. And whatever choice they make next will be based on this new reality. If they step forward now, it will be because they know what they are doing, not just on a whim. It will be from a plan, not from fear. If they step away, it will be because they see their own limits, not because you lack value. Both ways show the truth. And truth, even when it hurts, makes you free because the moment things are clear, the suffering ends. You're no longer hanging between hope and doubt. You're solid in self-respect. And from that place, you are no longer afraid of what happens. You are ready for it. And now, everything slows down. Not because nothing is happening, but because something final is being made. This is the part where truth no longer hides, where excuses don't work anymore, where the heart and the mind have to talk honestly to each other. This person knows now that the choice cannot wait any longer without a cost. They feel it in their body and in the way silence feels heavy. They understand that whatever they choose next will mean something for this connection forever, and that makes them see things more sharply. They begin to see what is at risk. Choosing you would mean choosing to be there instead of running. Choosing honesty instead of hiding. Walking away would mean choosing the same old thing, staying safe, and having a life that is easy but small. And here is the truth that stays in their chest. Neither choice is without pain, but only one choice is truly alive. They begin to accept that real love does not ask for permission. It changes things. It asks you to be right with yourself. And what scared them before now feels like something they must do. They ask the question one last time. Am I ready to show up? Am I ready to be seen? Am I ready to risk something real? And for the first time, the answer is not messy with fear. It is clear. Whether that answer is yes or no, it comes from truth. This is when they act. Not with a big show, but with a real move. If they choose you, you will feel it right away. There will be no more guessing. Their energy will change from far away to being right there. They will not just say they care. They will show it by being there and making an effort. You will feel chosen. Their words and actions will match. Because when someone truly chooses you, they do not leave room for doubt. And if they walk away, the truth will also be clear. There will be no confusing signals or small bits of attention. Their absence will be final. And while that may hurt, it will also set you free because being sure of things ends the suffering. You will no longer wonder or wait. You will know. And there is a third way that sometimes happens. Growth. Sometimes people need space not to forget, but to become who they need to be. Sometimes being apart is not about being told no. but about getting ready. If this happens, it will not feel like confusion. It will feel like space where both of you grow on your own. And if life brings you back together, it will be because you are both ready. But here is the most important truth. Your life does not stop for someone else. You are not meant to stop your joy while waiting to be chosen. You are meant to choose yourself no matter what. And that is what you are doing now. You are no longer asking if they will choose you. You are asking if you are good with yourself.